the housing market situation is quite different from Spain. So more than 85% of the Berlin people are tenants. Landlords are either private owners who own like 1 or 2, 3 houses, big real estate trusts and companies, or state-owned companies that actually are obliged by the government to make profit, and so they act like the private companies as well. So the housing market in Berlin has been comparatively relaxed until the late 90s, but then it started to change the situation in the 2000 years. So the government, which was at that time a coalition of social democrats and so-called socialists, they privatized loads of state-owned flats. In this situation, Berlin turned out to be like one of the hotspots for real estate investment worldwide. And it's possible to gain incredible high profits in buying, renovating and building real estate. So the rents are rising for like about 10 years now. The income of the Berliner is like really way lower than in the western parts of Germany. And also wages can't keep up with the rising rents. So this is a class problem and struggle, and at the same time it's not only about class but also about race. So it's a lot harder to find a flat for people with like a foreign name. On forced evictions we don't have any official statistics, which is quite interesting because the government obviously has no interest in giving data. We estimate that in half of the cases people move out before the eviction. That means like about 10 evictions a day in a city with 3.5 million inhabitants.
That the issue of gentrification, rising rents and displacement was on the table as one of the biggest social problems of the city. But then we came to kind of a point of a deadlock because, we scandalized it and the media was covering it and everybody spoke about it, but the question was what to do now. And the general idea was we need something concrete. We need a point of intervention which disrupts the process of displacement to show as an example we really can stop displacement. Just in one case, but so affected people can identify their problems with the action we take, and so there's maybe the roots for a movement. So in 2012 then a couple of things happened. First, a migrant tenant group formed itself. This was very important because it opened new ways of communication and mobilization to a group of population which hadn't been part of the movement before. So, and then also, almost by coincidence, activists from the movement found a poster from her name is Nuria Cengiz, and she was facing an eviction, and she just put out posters on the walls around her flat, and where she was saying, I'm facing an eviction, but I don't want to go, I will stay. So people from the movement visited her, and the idea was born to make a single case campaign for Nuria Cengiz to keep her in her home. So another affected family from Kreuzberg found its way to the Nuria Cengiz group because they have heard about the case of Nuria Cengiz, and the name of the family is the Gülboy family, and they were facing an eviction by a private landlord. And they came and they wanted to say, we need help, but we also want to fight. So, and this was maybe the moment our platform was born.
The Gülboys are a Turkish couple with 3 children who grew up in Germany, and they were in danger of being evicted after a rent increase. Their case was kind of emblematic or symbolic for the situation in Berlin, so we picked it. Of course, we picked it because they asked us for help, but we also decided to make it big because it is a Turkish workers' family who has been living in our city for 40 years now, helping, being part of the society, and is then being thrown out of their flat and out of the neighborhood that Turkish people had created and made lively. So, and they should make space for white middle-class tenants. So that seems so unjust. And also we were very lucky to find the Goebbels as a case, because the father of the family, Ali Goebel, who's speaking there, he has the sign in Arabic, and the signs are obviously copied from Plataforma, so we learned from them. And he's really a charismatic guy, and people can easily identify with him, so this was like our luck. So when we started to work on the case, we had a lot of meetings before the first action, so we tried to figure out what kind of support the family wanted, and the family stated that we really want to make a stand. So finally, when the family got their eviction note, we agreed on organizing a blockade, but a blockade that would not be publicly announced. So we did this kind of silent mobilization. We gave small leaflets to all our friends and activists and called them to come to this blockade, but not doing it publicly so that police wouldn't get informed about the blockade beforehand. So on the day of the eviction, it was like 150 people came and sat down in front of the house of the Goebbels and on the staircases, so you can see it there. And the bailiff had to leave without doing anything. So this was our first success, and it got covered by the media. And after the blockade, we instantly made public what had happened. We showed our success. We did some professional media work, and we had press speakers. We put up a supporters list with musicians, local shops, associations, and scientists, for example, who publicly declared their solidarity with the Goebbels and who announced to participate in the next blockade. So these were the next step after the first successful blockade. Then we also put on an SMS list for people who wanted to get informed about the next eviction. So right now, some month after this first eviction, we have more than 500 people on this list who want to get informed and who come to our actions. So when the next eviction note came, we mobilized for a second, this time publicly announced blockade. And as there was a big pressure by the media, the bailiff postponed the second date of the eviction, so second success. And so in the meanwhile, other people had come to our platform and asked for help, so this was constantly developing. The third try turned out to be quite big. It was in February of this year. As we had been successful for 2 times and the media was covering the case, there were coming more and more people to help us and to engage in the platform. And then we decided to put mainly pressure on the owner and not on politicians. We made a demonstration to his house. This is his house. It looks really nice. Then we also had public events to inform about what would happen on the 14th of February, so this big blockade. We had neighborhood assemblies in this neighborhood in Kreuzberg. We had an event in cooperation with a leftist Turkish organization, only in Turkish, where Ali and another affected woman spoke only in Turkish, so this was also important for us, that it's not mainly a white movement. We mobilized a lot, as you can see, with posters and handmade banners, which are kind of friendly looking, and the thing got that big that even politicians of this socialist party I mentioned before wanted to be part of our movement, and the leader of this party announced that he would come to the blockade. Actually, he didn't come, he didn't show up, is it? I don't know, we don't know. But yeah, they were trying to hitchhike this, but we refused. Then we did a warm-up demonstration, and this was also very important for us. At this demonstration, mostly affected people spoke, and mostly they did it the first time in their lives.
We have manifestations and demonstrations. We sometimes work with sit-ins where we go, like I told, when we go into like the headquarters of companies or like in the boroughs of a mayor or whoever, wherever. We also have, like, we call it go-ins, like where we like go directly to this person who's maybe can do something for the administration unannounced. We hold neighborhood assemblies, also information assemblies. We write open letters to like responsible persons, like owners or landlords, also like people in the administration, which also should address the media. We did something like a microfonica, which we copied from Greece, where like we go unannounced with 20 people and a lot of megaphones through the neighborhood and try to inform people what's going to happen with her neighbor. We did a public action training to get people ready to blockade.
And there's also legal support teams present at big blockades, for example. And we also do like public negotiation. We go and negotiate. We try to bring in a camera so that everyone can see what is happening there. Mostly the people in charge don't want to be filmed, but if they see this camera, they know that they can't just deny to speak with us or just be too nasty. So this is like a strategy to also get information and some power in the negotiation. So this is Noria Cengiz, who is still active in the whole movement. So this was the biggest blockade we did so far, and it kind of failed. So the family Göbel was finally evicted, but yeah, Ali put it right when he said right after the eviction, the struggle has just begun.
We are a group of approximately 50 active people. We have a variety of personal backgrounds. We are young and old, unemployed, workers, academics. We are activists and affected people together. We are still more activists than affected people. We have migrant people in our group, but still not enough. They are still not represented enough compared to population and especially to the cases we have, because the big majority of the cases are migrant people. And what is important to say, a lot of women participate actively in the platform. We have a weekly meeting of 4 hours. Yeah, it's every Monday from 7 to 11 p.m. And we have additional meetings during the week where smaller groups work on single cases and other like issues like media work, etc.
Our main strength is the diversity and positions we have in the platform. So we are like a heterogeneous group. We have different positions towards different topics, participating of political parties, for example, being peacefully or not. And I think this is what makes us strong. So what we also have is diversity of skills and actions we take. We want to surprise like our counterpart always. We're always moving between very official legal things and civil disobedience. So we have these different tactics. What is important is that we are likable. We're doing good press work and trying to show that we have nice faces and that we are like everybody, so people can identify with us.